she straight up calls him by name, dude. This is savage. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kwaku, you think John Dehlin possibly faked a social media banning 6 hours after Kate Kelly posted what some are calling a certified internet letter of the 14 women that are trying to warn all the other women not to work with him? That's what you think is the motive behind this, because you're the head of the internet FBI, the Twitter FBI, as you called it on this one. Is that your official?
No. I just think that right after Kate Kelly, one of the most prominent ex-Mormon women in modern social media, after she gets a letter with a bunch of other prominent ex-Mormon women who formerly worked with John Dehlin, I just think it's a coincidence that after they publicly said that he is a bad person that should not be worked with and cannot be trusted alone in a room with women, that TikTok managed to ban him for some reason nobody understands, with a notice from 2020 that had a misspelling error. I think that just happened, and there's nothing fishy about it at all. And if you think there's anything fishy, you're a with. I of course not. No. And why has John Dehlin ever given us a reason to believe he's dishonest?
Well, dude, I mean, I'm reading this thing. Have you read what she said?
No, let's pull it up. Let's go to it.
Okay, I'm pulling it up right now. This is crazy.
It's intense.
Okay, literally, she says, leaving Mormonism is very hard. There are many who attempt to manipulate and take advantage of those leaving because of their unique vulnerabilities. A man named John Dehlin is one of those people. She straight up calls him by name, dude. This is savage. And then she continues saying, the undersigned want to make clear that we do not support him. And then if you go on to this, she posts a Google Doc. So anybody can pull it up on any browser, any server, anywhere. And when you pull it up, I mean, this is an indictment, man. It says, we do not support John Dehlin. John Dehlin has long used Mormon and ex-Mormon women to mask his bad behavior. He has used our talents, time, movements, and reputation to bolster his brand and enrich himself. It's true, man. I mean, he lives in a multi-million-dollar, what some would consider mansion. He's making six figures. He formed his 501c3 in Arizona, not in Utah, because it's the only state that only requires one corporate officer who, if I understand correctly, can actually receive money. So allegedly he's, quote, running a not-for-profit that's basically a for-profit company, and then she continues, he takes advantage of vulnerable people in crisis who are in legitimate need of help and community. When women come forward with critiques of his behavior or allegations of wrongdoing, he retaliates by lashing out at them and attempting to publicly discredit them. We aren't people who protect the Mormon church. Yeah. Kate Kelly ain't exactly a friend of the church. And we also don't protect men who put the community at risk.
Are you saying that President Nelson didn't put her up to this?
Yeah, President Nelson did not put her up to this.
Are you sure?
It appears as though the Mormon church and its followers got Kate Kelly to write a letter saying that.
Yeah. So look, she continues and said, many of us have worked with him in the past and want to make clear that we do, that we no longer do and don't encourage any other women to do so. It's not safe. We refuse to be used as a mask for abuse. I mean, this is hardcore. I'm going to finish it up. We think it's a better use of everyone's time and investment to support other folks building community and providing resources for exiting Mormonismo. If you need therapy, you should seek out a professional who is actually licensed by the state to provide those services. So she actually calls out the fact that he calls himself Dr. John Dehlin, but is not an actual licensed therapist in the state of Utah, which is pretty savage right there. And then continues to say, if you do need community, as we all do, that was nice of her, you should seek out people who don't regularly tear down women who disagree with them. It's time we could reconsider giving so much energy and support to someone who has the potential to do so much harm. He often attempts to paint criticism as an attack and is an expert at making himself the victim, which, as Kwaku had stated earlier, could possibly be the reason that this whole TikTok ban 6 hours later ended up becoming such a prominent post on social media. So she finally finishes and says, this is not an attack. It is a, quote, clarification of values. Okay, fine. I guess we'll call it that. But our values are to support and to believe women. And then she finishes up saying, we invite you to do the same. That, I don't know. I might fake a hate crime to try and make it so that people didn't read that letter about me.
And especially when it's all ex-Mormon women who, it's not like these people are here to defend the church.
No.
You can't use his normal,
Look at who signed this letter, dude. Like, I'll pull it back up so everybody can see it. Do you see the names on this?
Yeah.
You recognize some of them. And it says
Kate Kelly, Joanna Smith, Amy Grubbs, former director of operations for the Open Stories Foundation. Same Sharon Price, she was the events coordinator. Dr. Christy Money, Dr. Amber Whiteley, Dr. Micah McGriggs, Marissa McPeck-Stringham, Emily Clyde Curtis, Chelsea Bernard Archibald, Teresa Brown Edmonds, Amy Evans Hickman, former editor-in-chief of the Exponent 2, Hannah Wheelwright, and Rosebud. So, I mean...
Dude,
And the thing is, he's tried to paint this off before, as like Kate Kelly just disliking him or Rosebud just being crazy. But like, this is a long list of people making it very clear you should stay away.
Well, yeah, this is what blows my mind, man. Because look, we all saw what happened to Kavanaugh. We all now it's just like you get appointed in politics and you're just going to be accused 3 days before the election of impropriety with somebody for something. It's sad, but like we become almost desensitized to it because, it's the expected scandal. So if this were just a one-off thing, fine, whatever. And everybody's got a beef and divorces are so horrible. People act unethically when they break up with somebody. And we know that, Kate Kelly broke up with John Dehlin, for lack of a better term, ideologically at least. But I mean, I kind of recognize some of these names. I'm not in this like you are, Kwaku. But I mean, Kate Kelly, she's the founder of Ordained Women. Amy Grubbs, former director of operations for the Open Stories Foundation. That's his foundation. Sharon Price, former events coordinator for the Open Stories Foundation. Rosebud used to work in the Open Stories Foundation. Christy Money sounds familiar. I think you've mentioned her before, right, Kwaku?
Yeah.
I mean, this is some serious allegations, man.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like this is not like I'm annoyed that this is gonna be brushed off as some like, it's apologists trying to. No, if I stopped going to church, I would still think John Dehlin was a creep. Like there's like I'm sorry, sometimes you're just if he was like in a Hank Smith position and I would be like, yeah, no, this guy's a creep. Keep him away from the firesides and the FY. Like it's just sorry.
What I don't get is like, okay, so we've got this whole big Hillary Clinton spying scandal now, in which like literally 2/3 of Democrats now literally think, yeah, she spied on the Trump campaign. She totally did unethical crap. The boat of Spygate and Obamagate and the Hillary Clinton spying scandals this big. Watergate is like this big. You know what I'm saying? Like 2/3 when polled of Democrats today in a poll that came out thought, yeah, she should be investigated. Like we all know the jokes that you'll be disappeared if you say that I have information that might lead to the investigation of Hillary Clinton. We all know Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. We all have understood the jokes, but like this scandal is so bad that even the protected Clintons are starting to be thought of as, maybe we should investigate them by 2/3 of Democrats, right? So how is John Dehlin still their hero? Like people say, oh no, he's not. But I mean, this guy leads the charge, or at least profits off the charge of every single ex-Mo movement. He's the biggest podcaster. He's the biggest everything.
He's their prophet.
He's their prophet. He's the prophet of the ex-Mormon church.
Well, I think that there's a reason for that. I think that a big part of it is because, like Kate Kelly mentions in her letter here, there are a ton of people who are looking for community, right? And you have people like John Dehlin giving them very bad advice on pretty much giving them advice that is going to destroy their old community, right? That's going to make it so that they no longer have a community within Mormonism and people in the church that they can actually still spend time with, because he's telling them that they're all cultists. And you think you're going to have a good time hanging out with people that you're now telling them are cultists? No. So now he has this community that he's made with his Thrive Foundation and everything. So he's making the problem worse, but sucking them into his solution, right? Yeah. And that's what bugs me the most about this.
But yeah, it's not a solution. It's character worship.
No. He actually has built community there because there are enough people who have shown up, right?
Well,
but I think he does it in a way
I guess community in the sense of, yes, there's bodies in a room focused on some kind of cause, but it's kind of odd. It's just like, to me, it's like anti-community in the way of, if it's dependent upon.
I wish there was a better option for people, No,
I do too, but I'm just saying, if your community is dependent upon X membership of something, that's the definition of, it's just like,
you're living in a former
anti-heroes in literature are like, well, they're heroes because, yes, they're the protagonists of the story and they're the ones that are carrying the plot forward and so on and so forth. But they're not heroes because they don't fulfill that actual, classical definition or whatever. It does seem odd whenever there's, if our show only focused on just debunking crazy stuff that anti-Mormons said, I'd say we're a lesser show, because you have to talk about something, not constantly be a reaction to other things. Mm-hmm. And so I'm dubious of groups that are based around, because honestly, if the Mormon Church were actually to dissolve and go away, which is what they want, then all of a sudden, what is the mission statement and the mortar that holds the bricks of your organization together now if ours has failed? So if your organization is dependent upon the success and continuance of another organization, you're not an independent organization. You're a parasite. You're a virus. Viruses don't have enough of their own, DNA to survive as living microorganisms out there. They rely upon healthy tissue to infect, spread their RNA, and then replicate themselves, right? So that's why viruses aren't considered life, while bacteria is considered life, because they can't sustain themselves on their own. That's a very oversimplified and bad biological definition of viruses. I've got like 3 friends with their degrees in chemistry. They're like, "You idiot, you botched it." But that's okay. Kind of that's what I feel. So anyway, you think this was purposeful, Kwaku? I'm on the fence. I don't know. I'm too uncomfortable to make a.
I think it was 100%. I think it was purposeful. I'm sorry. Look, you don't. I don't believe TikTok's gonna freaking bomb that badly, especially when you're a guy with a history of lying and groping women. So no, I don't think he's. I think it's fake. I think it's fake. I think his TikTok account actually got banned in his cover up. So I think he ended up losing his account and he didn't really mean to. But no, there's no way. Sorry.
He had to lean
what do you
into
think the Chinese can't spell? Of course he. No, I'm not buying that.
Yeah, and see, for me, I'm not. I don't know if I'm comfortable saying like I'm sure he did it, but man, that Photoshop looking image, that looks so fishy. And so like I will say I don't know that I'm comfortable saying that he for sure lied about this, but I will for sure say that we have more evidence that he lied about it than he has that the church is responsible for him getting banned.
Right.
Should we post this video? Last question. Should we post this?
Do it.
Why not?
Post. What's he going to do? What's he going to do? Call 911?
Okay. All right.
I mean, what if we find out that he really did get banned? Like, I don't know. Is this even a thing we can find out the truth of?
Well, that's what I'm saying is I'm usually like, I want to verify these things, but it looks like you can't. Well, I mean, you could email, Twitter, we could sign a certified letter.
You're already getting manipulated by John Dehlin. Your account was banned. It says everything it needs to say. I'm sorry. Stop being that charitable. It doesn't happen.
That charitable with what could be a racist meme from freaking Reddit.
Your account was banned.
I think we should be as charitable as possible. But yeah, Kwaku,
the number 3 app in the world.
So sketchy. It's so sketchy to me that it ended up being that way.
By the way, dude, what's so funny is one of the best nights I ever had in my life, bro, was my cousin married a Vietnamese Catholic girl up in Northern California. Many people don't realize this, but in the Bay Area, there's tons of Asians.
Oh, so
right?
many
Yeah,
Asian
you went to school in San Francisco. And they dig karaoke. Her family was super into karaoke, right? So we go to this wedding, and now I have like a second cousin who's literally like the first 5-star Vietnamese American chef. She owns a restaurant. It was super fun experience. I go up there though, and I walk into a restaurant. They rented a big karaoke setup, and there was their grandfather trying to sing "Let It Be." But anybody that knows Vietnamese knows there's no L's. You know what I'm saying? Dude, it was the most epic one of the most epic karaoke experiences of my life was with my now newfound Vietnamese family trying to sing "Let It Be" by the Beatles in a language with no L's. Just imagine that. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it was pretty rad. So I see you account got banned, and I'm sorry, man. Like, to me, that literally just seems like some guy that was really angry at China for the and wanted to get back at him by making a TikTok meme. And he might have just actually reposted that, not knowing its origins. So, all right, I'm out, man. You guys,
Hey, peace out, guys.
You guys
Sounds
have
good.
fun. See ya.